Welcome to Between Two Hops, a segment on the Taproom exclusive inspired by Inside the Actors Studio, where I get to know my guest a little better. I'm your host, Dean Zarbaugh. I'm joined today by Jim Waltz, brewer for Forest City Brewery in Cleveland, Ohio. Let's get started. What is your favorite style of beer to brew and to drink?
German Bock.
Both to brew and to drink?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh, there's one hop edition. They're super easy to make. They clean up. They filter real well. Everything's super easy. But yeah, they're clean, crisp. You know, I love. Same. Yeah. I drink them year round. Favorite to brew, favorite to make.
Nice. What is your least favorite to brew and to drink?
Least favorite to make is just any of these IPAs with pounds of hops in it.
Okay.
Pounds of hops.
It's just a lot of work.
It's more of just of just having to transfer and clean and they make a mess.
Yeah,
they make a mess to do.
I gotcha.
What was the other part?
To drink.
Shoo.
Just if you saw it, maybe I'm not going to go to that one.
Yeah,
9 times out of 10.
I've had a couple beers that people in the style that they tried to do, which was like, oh, we're gonna go like natural fermentation, or we're gonna try to carb it, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Like they almost got a little too cute. So I don't think it was like necessarily the style, but it was just like maybe
too cute,
maybe overthinking and just kind of like. Just go ahead. We have modern technology.
Yeah,
go
absolutely.
ahead and make a beer. Go ahead and make a beer.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
If I wasn't brewing, I'd probably like get into like astrophysics.
All right.
I have the luxury of having a very bright 10-year-old at home who's got a brain that is curious, and all we do is shout out to Neil deGrasse Tyson, my favorite astrophysicist.
Yeah.
But and just learning about the universe, learning about everything involved with that, and just when you get older, it's hard to kind of get your brain to be wowed,
right?
In that way, like when you're a kid, and you just kind of like
everything's amazing.
Yeah. Every time I listen to one of his podcasts or read a book on astro, it's just like your brain just So when you're older and you just kind of get flattened or wowed by something.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. So.
Space and physics and all that is doing it for me right now too.
Yeah.
It's another rabbit hole to go down. What profession would you not like to attempt?
Everything I've done before brewing, and anything sitting in a cubicle. People just weren't meant to sit in a cubicle,
Absolutely.
man. I mean, it's people got to make. I give people props, for doing. But when the highlight of my day was just going to the vending machine, and that was like to break up the monotony. I'm not built for it. I'm a mover. I got to move. And so anything that keeps you stagnant, I couldn't do.
What hurdles did you personally face in starting in this industry, and how did you overcome them?
So when I started in the wine industry. It's pretty much a seasonal job, right? So if you're into wine, then you're only in the winery for 3 months. If you're in the vineyard, you're only in the vineyard for 6 months. There's 12 months in a year. You know what I mean? So you really you have to learn to kind of know how to do everything, because that's what got you hired.
Right.
Is that someone can keep you working all year. So when I got started, I was a little older because I kind of had like a second career after graduating, from Kent and going back to school. So I had kind of learned what I didn't do the first time, which was not networking and meeting a bunch of people. Because every job I've had that's been good has been a job I've never applied for. Okay. That's been people just kind of coming to get you, for stuff like that. So really, for when I kind of restarted again, it was just learning as much as you can. And I'll put it this way: I had, thank God for my wife. She let me pack up, and we left with a newborn, and I was making $10 an hour working in a vineyard.
Yeah.
And eating ramen noodles and broke, and as happy as could be.
Right.
And then so you just kind of learn how to start over, and just hard work does pay off. And if you if you truly love it and are passionate about it, everything else does take care of itself.
Absolutely.
I mean, you enjoy it, everything else kind of falls into place. So it's been a good journey. We're excited, and kind of to be back home. And, when I was making beer and making wine in North Carolina, it was like we were having fun, but nobody knew who we were and what we were doing, So it's like, when we do events here at the brewery, and it's just so much fun to invite our friends and family down to kind of enjoy it all with us and kind of see all the work that everybody puts in here.
What was your most interesting trend for 2018 that you saw in the craft beer world?
What did we do in 2018? 2018 was... I know we kind of don't really inside. I mean, I think the overall trend was the New England IPAs, right? And we never brewed one.
Yeah.
We just kind of did our own thing.
Yeah,
but I noticed
absolutely.
when I went to shows, that was kind of like, making the hazy beer and making the style.
There's enough of it out there, though.
I think that was like what I saw in the industry that was kind of real popular. Every time you kind of went a new place, somebody was always showing off.
Mm-hmm.
We got our new hazy IPA and our New England IPA. So I don't know, maybe we'll make one time, but we haven't yet.
Yeah.
we kind of we made a session.
You've been doing all right.
And did pretty good.
If you had to pick the least favorite trend you saw in 2018, thing that just kind of was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you have to? What would you pick?
I don't know. I don't want to get too soapboxy, but
it is a soapboxy question, but you don't have to do.
Well, again, I think I think there is kind of like a line of not making beer,
mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And kind of getting a little bit too cute, too crazy with stuff. I mean, I think some of the ingredients people use, I think part of the problem is people are just trying to be so different to differentiate themselves in such a crowded market. But it's kind of like, do you want to be known as the Fruit Loop beer?
Yeah.
Play,
right.
Just stuff like that. I mean, so I think if people really just focus on making good beer, and you can get creative. I mean, we've got mint and stuff in beers too.
Part of the
that's cool. But we just try to use it in a balanced way that it isn't overly cute and too cutesy with stuff. So I've kind of opened up some different, trying to read different beer publications and different things, and kind of scratching your head at some of the different trends of like, I get it.
What is one piece of practical advice you would give someone starting out?
I think just starting out in the industry,
in
craft beer. I honestly, I mean, it's just to kind of find their style and who they are as a brewer. I've known so many people that are like technicians,
mm-hmm.
and I've known people that brew like a chef,
right?
That just kind of go by, feel and taste, and so everyone does it differently in a different style. So if you really try to copy someone or try to be it's just probably not going to work, because who you are as a brewer is a big thing in your beers. I think when people come in and kind of taste our beers and our styles and stuff, they probably kind of know who I am mm-hmm. without even meeting me, in a lot of ways. So I think just generally being that is, to brew enough and to do enough beers that you kind of figure out your style and who you kind of are as a brewer, and just kind of roll with that.
Very cool. If you could send a message to yourself 10 years ago, what would you tell the younger you?
Don't lift so much. Take it easy on like thinking you can lift barrels and lift bags, and like if you have an assistant, ask for help. Like use it. Like don't be doing that. No, it's kind of been the same thing. I mean, I literally I've been doing this for 15 years now ish. So it literally was 5 years before your 10-year question, but literally it was just do what you like to do.
Yeah.
Don't worry about money. Don't worry about any of those other things that kind of keep you in doing something you don't like to do.
Right.
Is just make the break. If there's something you want to do, just
go for it.
Just chuck it. Go for it. And I took my own advice, and it's been great. I'll put it this way. I mean, there's rough days, but there's never a bad day. Right. I mean, I really I've gotten up where I didn't want to get up to go to work.
It happens.
And ever since I shifted industries and put the work in, I mean, I always enjoy getting up and going to work. So
absolutely,
if it's photography or painting, just go for it.
And the last question, what or who has been the biggest influence in your brewing career?
I guess a little bit, since I have a little different background, since I've done wine and distilling and brewing, mine would probably be a little bit different. That I was an assistant winemaker in North Carolina to a head winemaker who was probably the biggest influence to me. I mean, his name is Sean McRitchie Winery and Cidery in North Carolina. But he was just a guy that taught me so many tips, tricks, using pumps, doing pump over, just all the skills. So, I've been very fortunate to have a few different mentors differently, from either business but he was my production mentor.
Nice.
He'd been around, he'd been all over the world making wine and done a lot of stuff. And he was very helpful and he's one of those guys that he just didn't BS. Yeah. You can appreciate people that are like Absolutely. Real straight and just kind of tell you how it is. And so he's the one that, we go back to North Carolina every couple of years to go to the beach, and I always stop to see him and have a beer with him and just kind of hang out. So he's kind of been the most helpful. So, now that I'm kind of flipped, I try to do the same thing he did for me, with younger people that worked for us. You just give them that knowledge and experience and just, it's nice to have someone to kind of share what they've already been through, so you're not making the same stuff that they did. So and then it kind of translates over to brewing. I just kind of bring a lot of that stuff over that you kind of learn in the different industries.
Very cool. Jim and Jay, thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate your time. The beer is fantastic. Guys, get down here, try Forest City Brewery, get out here, do a flight, try all their stuff. They do a wide range. And thank you guys again.
Oh, thanks a lot, Dean. It's been
Enjoy
great.
The rest of your day.